Sarah had always dreamed of traveling to an English-speaking country, not just to explore a new place, but to truly test and improve her English in real-life situations. After months of online courses, late-night flashcards, and awkward mirror conversations, she finally booked a trip to Brighton, a charming seaside town in the UK, where her old friend Tom now lived. The moment she stepped off the train and saw Tom waving at her on the platform, she felt a surge of excitement and nervousness. She knew she would be speaking English all the time now, and she was determined to sound fluent, or at least, not embarrassing. Tom, a cheerful British guy with messy hair and endless enthusiasm, greeted her with a warm hug and said, "Welcome to Brighton. Ready for some beach fun?" "Yes." Sarah beamed. "I'm so happy we are finally going to the beach." It was a small sentence, but she had practiced it several times on the train ride over, rolling the word beach around in her mouth carefully. The long ee sound was tricky. Sometimes it came out wrong, and she wasn't always sure why. As they loaded her suitcase into the back of his car and drove through the narrow streets of Brighton toward the sea, Sarah felt herself relaxing. Tom made her laugh with silly stories, and she began to feel more confident about speaking. "Tom, I want to teach you some Farsi words," she said, proud to be the language expert for a moment. "Great. Please teach me," Tom said, glancing at her with genuine curiosity. Sarah thought for a moment. "Okay, the word for thank you is merci. Merci," Tom repeated, smiling. "That sounds French." Sarah laughed. "Yes, it is. But we use it a lot in Iran." By the time they reached the beach, the afternoon sun was shining through scattered clouds, casting golden light over the shore. Sarah stepped out of the car and walked barefoot onto the soft, warm sand. She closed her eyes and inhaled deeply, the salty air filling her lungs. "It's so beautiful," she whispered. Then, more loudly, "Look at this beautiful beach." Tom grinned. "Yeah, the water looks great. Let's grab a drink before swimming." Sarah nodded and went to a small kiosk, where she asked the vendor, "Excuse me, one cold drink, please." "Sure, here you go," the vendor replied cheerfully. Drink in hand, she walked back to Tom, proud of how smoothly things were going. She took a sip, smiled, and looked out at the waves crashing gently onto the shore. "Tom," she said, "I want to practice more English today. Especially pronunciation." "Awesome. Let's do it." Sarah thought for a moment, then said, "Okay. I want to teach you a word I like, beach." Tom nodded. "Sure. Beach. Like where we are." "Yes." "Beach," she repeated. "Beach." "Try again. A little longer vowel." "Beach," she said again, slower. "Better," Tom said. "Be careful though, if you say it with a short vowel, it means something completely different." Sarah tilted her head, puzzled. "Really? Like what?" "Well," Tom hesitated, unsure how to explain without sounding inappropriate. "If you say it with the short I sound, like bitch, it's a bad word. An insult." Sarah's eyes widened. "Oh no. I don't want to say a bad word." Tom laughed. I know. That's why it's important to stretch the ee sound in beach. Say, beach." Sarah repeated, "Beach." "Perfect." They started walking along the shoreline, laughing and pointing at shells and stones. Feeling bold, Sarah decided to try using her new pronunciation in a real sentence. "Tom," she said confidently, pointing to a spot farther down the coast. "I want to visit that bitch over there." Tom stopped in his tracks. "I'm sorry, what?" he said, raising an eyebrow. Sarah, smiling, pointed again. "That bitch. Over there. It looks quiet and nice." Tom burst out laughing, holding his stomach. "Sarah, you just said you want to visit that bitch as if it's a person." Sarah froze. "What?" "I said beach." "Nope. You said it with the short I. It sounded like you want to go meet some angry woman down the shore." "Oh my God!" Sarah gasped, covering her mouth with both hands. "I didn't mean that. I meant the seaside." Tom was laughing so hard he could barely stand. "It's okay. It happens. But yeah, let's fix that pronunciation before someone calls the police on you." Sarah turned red with embarrassment, but started laughing too. "Okay. Teach me again." So they practiced right there on the sand. "Say beach with I," Tom said. "Beach." "Now say bitch with dot." "Bitch." Sarah winced. "I hate saying that." Just for learning purposes, Tom reassured her. "Now again." They went back and forth. "Beach. Bitch. Beach. Bitch." Tom then suggested a game. "I'll describe a word, and you guess, is it beach or bitch?" Sarah laughed. "Okay, but only if you promise not to tell anyone about my mistake." "Scout's honor," Tom said, raising a hand. "All right," Sarah said, giggling. "First one, the place where people sunbathe." "Beat." "Good." "Next, someone who is always rude and angry." "Bitch," she said, reluctantly. "Correct." "Next, the place with waves." "Beach." "Someone you definitely don't want to call your teacher." "Bitch." Sarah laughed. The game continued, with both of them laughing more with each round. Then Tom asked, "Okay, final one. Imagine you see a beautiful stretch of sand and you want to impress the people around you with your English. What do you say?" Sarah took a deep breath, pointed toward the horizon, and declared, "Look. A beautiful bitch." Tom doubled over with laughter. "No. Almost perfect. You got the sentence right but slipped again." Sarah stomped her foot playfully. "Ah. This is so hard." Tom patted her shoulder. "You're doing great. Honestly, this is one of the funniest lessons I've ever had." They sat down on a beach towel while Tom explained more clearly. "So, in English, vowels matter a lot. Beach has the long vowel I like in sea or green. But bitch has the short vowel like in bit or sit. The only difference is the vowel, but it changes everything." Sarah nodded, repeating slowly, "Beach, bitch. Beach, bitch. You got it," Tom said. They drilled a few more minimal pairs together. Sheep ship. Seat sit. Feel fill. Sarah scribbled notes in her little travel journal and practiced saying the words softly to herself. "English is so tricky," she said. "Yeah," Tom agreed. "But also kind of fun when it turns into comedy." As the sun began to set over the sea, painting the sky with orange and pink streaks, Sarah and Tom built a small sandcastle, collected seashells, and even dipped their feet into the cold water. Later that evening, they met up with some of Tom's friends for dinner. Sarah was excited to practice more English but remembered her earlier mistake. When one of the guys asked, "So, how was your day at the beach?" Sarah smiled sweetly and said, "It was the most beautiful beach I have ever seen," carefully drawing out the ee sound. Everyone smiled. Tom gave her a subtle thumbs up from across the table. That night, back at her Airbnb, Sarah opened her notebook and wrote at the top of the page in capital letters, "Beach equals bit. Bitch equals BT." And underneath, "Remember, long vowel equals seaside. Short vowel equals insult. Do not mix." She turned off the light, closed her eyes, and fell asleep with a smile on her face, still hearing Tom's laughter echoing in her memory. The next morning, she greeted the world with new confidence, determined that she would never again confuse the beach with the bitch.